Hear an echo. Kind of weird. I'm hearing an echo. Get rid of that. We'll figure it out. No problem. I think I figured it out. Don't worry. No problem. Maybe I didn't. Who cares? Let's have some fun. Blazers fall to the Mavericks tonight, friends. 125-112. And a tough one for the Blazers. Shacker figured it out. He's texting me. I know it. He's so darn good. Sorry about that, friends. But here we are. Love hurts if you're a Blazer fan sometimes because you got to watch the Blazers come out and take another tough L, this time to the Dallas Mavericks, 125-112. And it kind of played out exactly like we thought it was going to play out. Did it not? Did it not? Oh, hi. I'm Luka Doncic. I'm really good. Have fun trying to stop me. And the Blazers, I don't know if they had fun. As some of the people already point out in the chat and on YouTube and on Twitter and all that, it's kind of the best of both worlds. You got a good game for part of it. You got the L, which I know a lot of people like because it benefits your overall draft stock. But this one was a tough one because this one came down to what happened in the first quarter. That's what the difference in this ball game was. In the first quarter, the Blazers were outscored 37-22. It was ugly early. Okay. Then in the second quarter, they outscored Dallas. In the third quarter, they outscored Dallas. Fourth quarter, defense, they played all right. Dallas only scored 28 points. Portland scored 22. Still got outscored, but they only got outscored by 6 points. But that 15-point first quarter did them in. Did them in. Did them in. This is the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here filling in for Chad Doing today. If you want to join in on the conversation, 503-248-0620. And if you don't want to call in, but you still want to join the chat, we got this new fancy thing called technology and YouTube. So jump on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio. We'll pop right up and you can join the chat over there. Tony in the chat says, yet another educational loss for our young men. They're getting a lot of those right now, Tony. A lot of learning on the job. Here's the deal, though. Here's the deal, Tony. We got to act like it's a job, like basketball is a job, because it is a job, okay? Now, I'm a journalism major, majored in journalism, electronic media at the University of Oregon. Go Ducks, right? Always wanted to be a talking head in my life. Wanted to work for the big guys, right? I want to be on ESPN Sports Center. I want to be like Stu Scott. Neil Everett, right? Got to host TV for a little bit at NBC. Now I'm hosting radio here thanks to the great and wonderful Chad Doing. I edit videos for a living at my other job, social media, all things that they tried to teach me at school, but I did not learn as much in school as I have on the job, right? You can take so many reps in school and learn about what it takes to be on radio and be a host. But nothing compares to learning on the job, getting that on-the-job training. And that's what some of these young guys are getting, on-the-job training. You can learn as much as you want to learn in the G League or at Iowa or whatever college you happen to go to, or you jump from the IMG straight in. But nope, on-the-job training is where you learn everything. Half the time you get on the job and like, yeah, everything you learned in college, it's cool, you got your degree, but we're going to teach you how to do it our way. And that kind of happened. What's happening with Scoot? Like, yeah, we know that you learned how to run pick and rolls this way, but now you're going to learn our way. Our way. Also, on the job training, by the way, that's why I hate when people are like, where's your job experience? Well, give me the job, teach let me get that experience. I promise I'll learn it, all right? That's what they're getting, on-the-job experience, Tony. You're right. Blazers stayed in it, even though they got outplayed, says Sean. They managed to stay in the game without three vets. That is a key point, too. No Ayton, no Grant, no Brogdon, and the young guys are playing well. They're playing well. It's just not enough. This has been the story of the entire year, right? So it's not like we're completely shocked. This has been the story since day one, struggling to finish out games. They just don't have the bodies or the experience or the know-how at the end of it. So it makes sense. It's just unfortunate. Quick look at the box score. I guess the Blazers do get a little bit of credit because Luka Doncic didn't have a triple-double, so that's big news. Did have 32 points, 10 assists, and 6 rebounds, though. Dante Exum had quite the game with 23 points and 7 assists of his own. They held Kyrie Irving to 11. However, he only played 13 minutes after suffering an injury, because injuries suck when it comes to basketball. I'll just say that right now. Say what you will about Kyrie Irving and whether you like him or not for what he does personally, but he is a hell of a basketball player, and he makes watching the games fun. So injuries suck for everybody. I hate them. But outside of that, Lively had 10 points. Jones Jr. had 14 points. Blazer legend, Derek Jones Jr., that is. Tim Hardaway threw in 20, and we talked about that early in the pregame show as well. That he's a shooter. He's going to get his, right? So you expected that. Tough game, though. Tough game. You knew that they were going to get the best of Doncic. You knew they were going to have to put guys on him. And they did all right. They did all right for chunks of the game. It's just really that this game, it's always so simple to look like what happens in the fourth quarter, right? Because it's the clearest in your mind. It just happened. It just happened. That's why all the time when something happens late in the fourth quarter, like Tamani Kamara has a weird turnover, or Matisse Thybulle has a behind-the-back pass that you didn't expect happening, you always point to what happened at the end of the game. Sometimes that's not how it goes, though, because you play 4 quarters. There's lots of basketball. Things happen. And this one was the first quarter. Because as Sean pointed out, the team stayed in the game. They played really well. They got it to a 1-point game late in that fourth quarter. Then the Mavericks locked down, got it back out to 113 to 100, and that was pretty much all they needed. Okay? But the team fought hard. They fought hard. They got into it. It was a game of runs. Dallas went on a run. Portland went on a run. Dallas went on a run. Portland went on a run. But that first quarter was what did them in. On the Blazers side of things, look at the box score. Again, Anthony Simons, 30 points, which is exactly what we said pregame. I want to see a 30 burger. I want to see 30 points. Just show me that you can go out there and just take over. And he did. 10 of 21, 4 of 10 from 3, 6 of 6 from the line, 30 points total, 24 from Sharp, 10 from Reith, 14 for Kamara. He had 9 rebounds, 0 blocks. So close for our man Kirk. He needed 10 rebounds and a single block for his fantasy team. I don't know if the points helped him. The points might have helped him. The 14 was pretty huge. Okay? And, of course, there's Scoot Henderson, who struggled. Chauncey admitted that. We'll hear from Chauncey here in just a little bit. Now, if you want to join in the conversation on the fifth quarter, this is a caller show, 503-248-0620. Jump in on the line again, or join the chat on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Rip City Radio, and we'll get you on. Now, let's head out to the phone lines where I welcome royalty onto the show. Preston Charles Highfield, Professor Xavier Esquire the 10th joins the show. Preston, welcome in, my man, my play-by-play booth buddy, my former Rip City Radio colleague. How you doing, my friend?
My guy, I'm doing great, man. You do such a great job, Burkhardt, and I just had to call in. I went to the game tonight with a couple of buddies to make my first Moda Center appearance of the season, and I just wanted to give you a couple thoughts, man.
All right, well, lay them down. What you got?
I guess I would say first and foremost, Ant is just really impressive. His offensive game is just so smooth, and I mean, it's not like a surprise that he's putting up the numbers that he is this year in more of like a starting role and more of like a go-to role, but he is just like so much better than anyone on the team, in my opinion, at least tonight when they didn't roll out Jeremy and Ayton and Brogdon. And then secondly, man, just the rim protection and the lack of bothering Luka was what frustrated me tonight. Like, he just got wherever he wanted. And I know it's Luka, and I know he's had some insane games in recent games, but I would just like to see him get shoved off his spot a little more, or like the lack of rim protection was really evident tonight. Like pick and rolls and then like a quick pop to Lively or Powell before he was in foul trouble. That was kind of the thing that stood out on the negative side. But, yeah, Ant was incredible, but the lack of rim protection was brutal for Portland.
Well, I mean, we got to be completely honest. It's not like we're getting the world's greatest shot blocker in Duop Reith.
Right. But he did hit a couple threes tonight, and I know he's flashed that this season, but it was funny. Like, the crowd didn't quite expect him to hit the threes, but he canned a couple threes tonight.
He's been doing that for a while, man. He can splash it from deep. He's versatile. I like him as a depth play. He's obviously not a true starter, but a depth play, he's great. And you're right, man. Simons is proving that he's the best player on this team, and there's no question about it. But you were there tonight, so what was your perspective on him playing next to Shaedon Sharpe? We saw the box score and the performance on the road against Golden State. They looked really good together, and tonight they both had really good games, combining for 54 points. So what's your take on those two playing together?
Yeah, I mean, they're just really, really dynamic. I think they feed off each other fairly well, but a lot of Ant's buckets that I saw were just like crazy good ISO moves. I mean, maybe a little screen, a little step back, but yeah, they're a super powerful backcourt, obviously really bouncy. And yeah, really fun to watch, man. And Shaedon definitely feels a lot more. You can see he's way more confident. Obviously, last year in his rookie season, there were times where he was like a little bit, just a touch hesitant, and it doesn't feel like he's really a touch hesitant anymore. So that's good to see. And yeah, man, they're like, even if you're going to lose by 13, at least you lose scoring 112 points, and that's kind of what the Blazers are going to do this year. I think is like, man, they're going to try to outscore teams. Like, my other thought was like, man, you could try to just go like all out tempo like the Pacers are doing,
Right.
because there's not much, like I say, especially with Ayton out, there's really no rim protection, so it's not like you're really going to get many stops anyway. So they could go even faster tempo wise was my thought, but you know, man, I mean, they're fun to watch, and dude, Shaedon looks like he could be a star. Ant is already on his way to stardom, so those are two great players. And I mean, you know, obviously Scoot coming off the bench is a guy that everyone wants to watch continue to grow and improve. But dude, at the moment, man, you have two solid pillars in the backcourt there.
Absolutely. All right, two questions for you before I let you go. One, got to go off your tweet here. What is it with the national media? LeBron does crazy things at the age of 75, and all they're focusing on is Zion's waistline.
Exactly. Dude, LeBron just had a historically great performance last night, 35 and 5 in under 25 minutes. I think he played 22 and a half minutes with the official tally. And all anyone was talking about was how out of shape Zion is. And I get it. That's a funny topic. It really is. And it's a topic that gets people laughing and trending. And, you know, Charles Barkley calls Zion out of shape. That's going to get a million clicks on YouTube. I get it. But, like, I don't know, man. I would have loved to see some national media members just give Braun a little more love instead of just focusing on Zion's weight problems.
Hey, I feel you. I know you're a LeBron stan. I know we've had the battles in this studio because many of us here are MJ guys. But here's the difference. MJ was great. Like in the last year with the Wizards, you look at the stats. If you go back and watch video of him play, he's still dominated. He just got to a point, I mean, he had already retired once, right? Where, like, I think he got all that he needed from the game. He's just a different cat, right? We never got to see him into his 40s like LeBron and playing at a high level. That's what makes LeBron just so crazy. We've never seen this before. I mean, he is still playing he can still turn back the clock when he needs to and play like prime level LeBron. It's insane.
Dude, yeah, that's what he did last night. He played 22 minutes and put up that stat line. And yeah, he's hit a lot of threes. But, yeah, I totally agree, man. We've never seen anything like it. Obviously, the all-time leading scorer in the league. By the way, the other thing, I'd be interested to get your take on this. Maybe this is a topic for a different time. But how come the NBA doesn't count points scored in the postseason as part of your overall total? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. We judge players' legacies, and I sincerely don't try to do like the legacy conversation too often, but like while we're on it, like we judge players' legacies on what they do in the postseason mostly,
right?
All-time players anyway, and yet we don't count their points or any stats in the postseason towards their all-time total. Like that's kind of baffling to me. Like LeBron was, if you do count them, LeBron was the all-time leading scorer in league history like 3 years ago.
Right.
I just don't get that.
I think the first argument someone would make would be like, well, he gets to play more games than other players because he gets more postseason reps. Well, okay, A, he's great, so he deserves those. But B, I mean, what about the players who are injured or the MJs who retire for 3 years? Not everyone plays the same amount of games. It's just a fact. So I'm kind of with you. I've always kind of wondered that myself. Those are games played. They should matter. I also think it's weird that, like, when you look at official stats for the season, that, like, the play-in game doesn't factor into that either, and that's just really weird to me. But yeah, you're right. A conversation for another day. My final question for you before I let you go and get to the other callers who have waited patiently, Preston. And I know you have hot takes on all this stuff, and that's why I'm asking you, because I guarantee you're probably going to be opposite of me. You're going to be with all of my YouTube chatters, and they're probably going to say, ha ha, told you so in the chat. But is LaMarcus Aldridge an all-time great power forward?
Whoa, that was out of nowhere. I would say no.
God, I knew it. I knew you wouldn't be with me on this. You never are. You're just the absolute worst.
I mean, he's an all-time Blazer, right? I mean, isn't he like one of the 5 highest scorers in Blazer history? Or
he is
like
one
that?
of only 50 players in basketball history to score 20,000 points for his career. He's phenomenal.
Yeah,
he was a great.
No, he's phenomenal, unstoppable fadeaway. But like, no, I don't consider him an all-time great.
Okay, an all-time great? Maybe a stretch. Do you consider him a great power forward though? Because I think there's a difference between saying he's a great power forward versus saying he's an all-time great basketball player. Because I don't really think I was arguing that he was an all-time great, like a top 50 player all-time or anything. But I do think he was a great power forward, not an average or an above average. I think he was great.
Yeah, no, he was definitely a great power forward, man. I think, I guess I would think to like the fact that obviously he played in an era with like Duncan, KG, and Shaq, and Shaq's center, but like those guys are on like. To me, those guys are on a completely different level. I mean, of course, Duncan and Shaq are, and really KG too. But yeah, I mean, dude, during his prime, he was a great player. I mean, perennial All-Star, right? Didn't he make? Yeah,
he made 7 of them, I believe. And to be fair, during most of his prime, for most of his prime, Tim Duncan was a center. I went through the list. I was like, the only one I think that really is in the combo for better was Kevin Garnett. Like, Blake Griffin was an all-star at the time, but Blake Griffin was just a highlight reel. I don't think he was a better power forward. But, yeah, it's a good argument.
I mean, there aren't many players at that position better than him during his time. I mean, if you just consider front court block players, not a ton better. So,
absolutely.
Yeah,
all right, hey, Preston, you're allowed back anytime, man. I'm glad that you called in, and I can't wait till you and I go hit a high school gym around here and get some play-by-play and color commentary going on Rip City Radio soon.
Let's do it, man. I would love to. We'll call a game soon, man. The stables of Mountainside High School are begging for us to come back.
Absolutely. All right, man. Have a good one. Thanks as always.
All right, bro. See ya.
All right, that was the man, Preston Charles Highfield, Professor Xavier Esquire the Fourth. I think that's what it was. Used to just be like teacher, professor, doctor, but I like Professor Xavier. Just rolls off the tongue. All right, let's head out to Northeast now, where Jake has been waiting patiently. Jake, thanks for taking the time and waiting for my long-winded buddy Preston to get done. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So what's on your mind?
So I'm sitting at the bar, and I'm hearing all these naysayers. Oh, Portland always loses. And, blah, blah, blah. Like, everyone just needs to chill out. We don't know what this team is. We're the youngest team in the NBA. Like, we just need to watch our youngins develop. The wins and the losses do not matter. They do not matter. The only thing that matters right now is the development of Shaden and Scoop and Tumani and Chris Murray and our youngins. Like, we get the joy of not caring about wins and losses. We get the joy of just watching this develop organically. And everyone just needs to chill out and not care about the wins and losses and just let it happen organically. It's a beautiful thing to watch right now, and it's a joy. And tonight, the problem is that we just had absolutely no interior defense. We were in that game. We could have won it if we could stop their interior attack a little more. But we have Ayton out. We had Time Lord out. And so probably, Cronin and the crew, they need to address, our front court depth a little bit in the future in the coming years. But I think that will that problem will take care of itself organically through the draft. But everyone just needs to chill out and just enjoy watching this young team grow into what they could be. We don't know what they are yet. We don't know who they are. Let's just enjoy watching this basketball. We get to watch Shaden just dunk on fools. And I know people are frustrated with Scoot, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a top 5 player right now in the NBA. Probably. He might be the best player in the NBA in a year or two. And his rookie year, he was dog doo-doo. He was not very good. So everyone just needs to calm down a little bit. Scoot is going to be fine. His absolute floor is solid NBA starter, and his ceiling is still superstar. So let's just calm down and just enjoy some awesome Blazers basketball. That's all I got.
Hey, absolutely, Jake. And thanks for the call here. I'm going to reference some of the things you said offline, and you can chime in. But I think it's interesting because I'm glad you called, because I'm glad you have my perspective. And I've gone to battle with a couple different fans. I don't care how you fan how you fan. There are a lot of fans that I know that prefer wins, and they don't like this losing thing. I do. I like this compared to the other years. I did not like the other years, Jake, where the last 2 years where they went into tank mode and they literally put the worst product on the floor possible in an attempt to lose games. Like, what I like about this team is that they know that they're not going to go be a 50-win team, even at their best. That's just not how the roster is constructed. But they give us good, hard-fought basketball every single night. And they lose games not because they're out there trying to lose games. They lose games just because on a night like tonight, there was no interior defense. That's a roster issue. They were missing too many open threes. That's a roster issue as well, because they just don't have a ton of shooters on this team. Yes, Toumani Camara took 10, but Toumani Camara's not a shooter, right? So there's things there, but the team's trying and they're playing hard, and I like that. Also, to be completely honest, I have a little bit of a different perspective and buy-in into this than the fan, because I've done this now professionally, covering this team for the last decade. And for most of that time, Damian Lillard was on this team, and you knew every single year that this team was going to go to the playoffs likely, and that the goal was to make a championship run. And then you get disappointed and try to rework the roster, and then the goal was the exact same. So for me, this year, I love, because it's a completely different feeling and perspective for us who have to sit in this chair and watch the game and analyze what's going on. And that's fun for me. So I do like that. And again, that's different than a lot of fans. So I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you there. And on your SGA point, SGA started his first year, 73 of the 82 games, played all 82. He averaged just 10.8 points and 3.3 assists. Wasn't a big bucket getter. The assist numbers were pretty low for a point guard, and he was starting a majority of the games. Now, I wouldn't say he was complete dog doo-doo, because as I pointed out to the Godfather today, like, prior to that Clippers trade for Paul George, right? Like, you saw little flashes of SGA at times of, man, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. Now you flash forward 5 years after that, dude's out here averaging 30 points per game, 6 assists, 2.5 steals, and changes the game. So again, you don't have to judge a book by the first year or the first quarter of a season in the NBA, because there are also guys who can look really, really good at times early on, and then they fizzle out quickly. I mean, look at John Collins in Utah, a player who I like personally, but his numbers aren't what they were just a few years ago. He kind of settled in, found his groove, and that's where he's at. So we'll see with Scoot. I'm not worried. I want to see this thing continue to play out. Absolutely. I do. Thank you for the call, though, Jake. Great perspective. Everyone else in the chat. I'm going to take a quick break here on the chat. Sean in Salem, stay there. Stay on hold. I'll grab you when we come back from break. I got to take these breaks every once in a while to kind of catch up with the YouTube chat. It's hard to keep up while I'm on a rant at the same time and listening to callers. But if you do want to call in, 503-248-0620 is that phone number. Go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio. Like, share, subscribe there, and you can join the chat as well. All right, when we come back, we're going to give you a scoreboard report. I say that nice and slow for my producer to be able to know what we're doing. See, that's called on-air producing. We're so good at this. All right, Chris Burkhardt here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620.
It's time for a fifth quarter scoreboard report powered by Columbia Heating and Cooling, raising your expectations of comfort.
Alrighty, welcome back into the fifth quarter, and it is time now for your scoreboard report. We'll start in Charlotte, where the Hornets picked up the 119-116 victory over the Raptors. Terry Rozier leading the way with 21 points, 13 assists. Scotty Barnes, 31, 10, and 10 for the Raptors. Down in the Magic Kingdom, the Pistons lost to the Magic 123-91. Cade Cunningham, 21.6 assists. Franz Wagner for the Magic, 27 points. In Philadelphia, the Hawks dropped the game 125-114. DeJounte Murray led the way for Atlanta with 20 points and 9 assists. Joel Embiid, 38 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 blocks. In Brooklyn, the Nets grabbed the 124-97 win over the Wizards. Mikal Bridges leading the way with 21 points for the Nets. In Boston, a little New York-Boston rivalry action. The Celtics grabbed the 133-123 victory. Derek White leading the way with 30 points. RJ Barrett, 23 points for the Knicks. In Miami, the Cleveland Cavaliers grabbed the 111-99 victory. Donovan Mitchell, 27 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. And here's something I feel like you don't get to say very often in the year 2023. Leading the way for Miami, Kevin Love, 14 points and 12 rebounds. In Memphis, the Timberwolves continued their absolutely hot play to improve to 17-4 with a 127-103 victory over the Grizzlies. Rudy Gobert, 16 points, 20 rebounds, and 6 blocks. He is playing incredibly well. Jaren Jackson Jr., 21 points for the Grizzlies. In OKC, the Thunder grabbed the 138-136 victory over the Warriors in overtime. The aforementioned SGA with 38 points and 5 steals. Steph Curry, 34 points and 6 rebounds. The Bulls grab a 121-112 victory over the Spurs in San Antonio. Kobe White leading the way with 24 points and 6 assists. Victor Wembanyama, 21 points, 20 rebounds, and 4 blocks for the Spurs. In Denver, the Rockets, the suddenly good Rockets with their new head coach playing not like a young team anymore, grabbed the 114-106 victory over the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, 23 points, 16 boards. Sengun from the Sengun, however you say his last name. That's a tongue twister for me. 17 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists to lead the way. You know, you got a lot of dockets, a large docket of games when you can't get through them before the music ends on scoreboard. Man, full slate of games. You got to love it. In Phoenix, the Kings 114, Suns 106. De'Aaron Fox 34 points, 7 assists. Devin Booker 28, 7 and 7 for the Suns. In Utah, the Clippers grabbed the 117-103 victory. Kawhi Leonard with 41 nuggets for the night. And John Collins, as I said, who was buoyed a little bit from his early years in Atlanta, but is still finding a good spot there in Utah, led the way with 20 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 blocks. And, of course, your final game of the night, the Dallas Mavericks 125, your Portland Trailblazers 112. Luka Doncic 32, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists. Anthony Simons led the Blazers with 30 points. All right, if you want to get in on the conversation, you know what to do, 503-248-0620 to get in on the phone lines, or you can jump over to YouTube, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat over there where Chris, Sean, Han, Tony, and the like are holding it down over there. Now, let's head out to the phone lines, though, because I did tell Sean as we headed to break, I said, hey, I need you to wait just a little bit, buddy, and he patiently did so. Sean, welcome in to the fifth quarter. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Wasn't able to go to the game, wasn't able to listen to much of it, but kind of tried to follow it. It's been a pretty wild year and exciting. I mean, yeah, we haven't won as many games, but if you think about it, we probably could be like 12-8 if it wasn't for a couple of, droughts in the last little bit, probably caused by the guys that we have on that floor. Their floor is really, really good. Tamani's amazing. Shaden is doing what we were hoping. Ant's back. The guys are doing the best that they can with having 3 starters out. It's great. I think the big thing that people need to realize is this is kind of a 3-quarter rebuild. I mean, Ant is the only remaining player from the year when we had our first, little go for the lottery and stuff on there, and that's incredible. But I remember the Toronto game, the Raptors game. It was like the first year of the lottery and stuff on there. And they had OG, they had Siakam, they had Van Vliet, they had GTJ on there. And the team that basically were up on them by 30 by halftime was Nurk, Covington, CJ, and Ant and Little. I mean, these guys are not known for defense, and Billups had them playing crazy defense even during, when we were trying to lose at the end of games. They were playing like crazy before, that they realized, okay, we got to slow things down a little bit so we can get Scoot and we can get Shaden Sharp. But, I mean, the guys are doing great. People just need to relax. This is the floor. I mean, it's only going to get better. We almost beat the Warriors. We did a pretty decent job against Dallas. We nearly shut down the Milwaukee Bucks for 3 quarters. We couldn't even do that last year when we had Dame on the floor. So, anyway, people just need to relax. I mean, they're doing really good, and it's great to see these guys just gutting it out. And it's just, they were not going to get knocked down. It's even at the beginning of the year, they were getting knocked down and they would go through droughts. But, man, now they're just keep pouring it on as much as they can. So everybody just needs to relax. These guys are good. Billups is a good coach. You've got to realize it now. These guys are totally following them, and it's happening. And they're probably coming back to being the Blazers that nobody really wants to play because they just don't know what's going to happen. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. Thanks so much for the call. And you know what? That last little thing you said there about this being the Blazer team, nobody wants to play. Teams know that they're better than this team, right? Dallas knows that they were better. Golden State knows they're better. But I still don't know if they want to play them because there's not a lot of teams, that even the good ones, that want to play a scrappy young team with nothing to lose. Like that, and that's the Blazers right now. And again, I'm with you. I am enjoying it right now because I'm seeing a lot of little things that I really like. And it's kind of fun, again, from my perspective, having to come out here and analyze these games and talk about them and covering this team for so long. It's really fun to finally be in a spot to sit and watch stuff with a real fine-tooth comb and see how things are progressing. So I'm absolutely with you, Sean. And again, there's plenty of people who come in and join our chat and don't like the losing. And that's fine too. Fan how you want. Because here's the thing, guys. Whether you're upset that they're losing right now or you love the fact that they're progressing and you're seeing good things from the young people, everybody has the same goal. Doesn't matter how you fan. That same goal is you want this team to be great at the end of the day. Some people want that greatness right now. Some people understand that greatness might take another year or two, but you all want that same thing. So again, I'm not going to knock how anybody fans. I just personally am really enjoying this season. It's fun to view it all from a different perspective. Now, one thing going on in the chat right now on YouTube is some talk about Scoot Henderson's shot. I want to get into that, but I won't. I'll do that next segment when we get to what to Scoot and we really kind of dive in to Scoot Henderson. But you guys are right. Some people talking about how he might need a shooting coach. I think you might very well be right. The shot's a little bit broken, but I think it will get there eventually. All right. If you want to join in the show, you know what to do. 503-248-0620 or go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, get in on the chat with me there where you can watch me randomly play with this microphone. I need a pen or something that I can click. My hands have to be busy while I'm talking. I'm distracting myself. All right, when we come back, though, we are going to hear from Coach Billups after the loss, and then we'll get to What's the Scoot. Chris Burkhardt here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Time Jeep of Portland presents the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups. Time for a brand new ride from Time Jeep of Portland. You won't believe the huge deals they're offering. With over 300 new and used vehicles to choose from, you'll find the perfect ride for your new adventure at Time Jeep. Find us just minutes away from the Moda Center off I-84 or visit timejeep.com. Drive with time.
Welcome back into the fifth quarter, and that is right. It is time for the Coach's Corner. So let's take a second to hear what Chauncey Billups had to say following the loss to the Dallas Mavericks tonight at Moda Center.
I thought we responded well, came out and had a really tough first quarter, but I told our guys even before the game, I said, the way we're going to be kind of running around, you got to just hang in there. You got to hang in there. No matter what happens, we can always get back in the game. As hard as we play, we just got to be able to make some shots. And that's what happened. They came out and Luka kind of got going, early on us. And then they had some shot making in the first quarter, but we stayed in there, and made it a game. And we could just never really get control, It was always, but we couldn't get control of the game. And we make a run. They'll bring Luka back in. He'll calm, the team down and get everybody the shots that they needed. But that's his greatness,
Chauncey, how does a young team earn respect of officials?
Oh, man, don't get me started, bro. It's Christmas time, man. I don't want to get none of my money away, man.
Charity time, Chauncey. Charity. You already said something in the day.
I got 4 girls in my house, man. A wife and 3 daughters. I got to keep my money. Man, I don't know. I don't know how we gain it. I mean, to me, I feel like, I've always just had this defensive mindset even as a player, and I feel like when you're an aggressor, you most times get the favor, or at least they understand how you play, and everything is not a foul, And there's been several times that I've sat up here, and I didn't complain at all about the calls they called against us because we play aggressive, and we foul more than I like, but I know you can never really have one without the other. If you're going to be very aggressive, you're going to have to live with some fouls. So we're an aggressive team at the most times, but when we're attacking and doing the same thing, the inconsistency really bothers me. So I don't know. I don't know how you do that, but we're going to keep just plugging away, doing the best we can.
You guys took 53 threes. Was that too many for your liking, or were you okay?
I don't think so. The way that they play, they just pack the paint on us. They pack the paint. We try to have a mentality of trying to attack the paint. But when you attack it and there's 4 guys there, kick it out, and we live with the results. We just couldn't make. We just couldn't make enough at least. But no, I don't mind that.
Chauncey, how good has it been to have Anthony back? Obviously, the last couple of games, stretching the floor on offense and just his presence with you guys.
Well, you can see, he changes things for us. Having him back it helps everything, and I think he's even been really good defensively as well to have him back scrapping out there. But just from an offensive standpoint, he just gets different coverages. Having him out there opens up a lot of, you talk about these 53 threes that we shot. Well, a lot of those come from them trapping and blitzing Ant, and then we getting shots on the weak side. So it just kind of sucked that when he came back, our other vets, aren't playing and are banged up. So one day we'll see what it looks like.
What do you feel about how Scoot's been playing since he got back? He seemed like a rough night tonight, shooting at least.
With the exception of tonight, I thought he struggled tonight. All of it. I thought all of it tonight he struggled. Our youngins, our 2 rookies, well, the 3, I thought Chris played pretty good, though. But I thought Scoot really struggled. Took a lot of shots that are just not the shots that we want. Thought defensively he struggled a little bit. He likes to pressure, but they was blowing by him, putting pressure on the back of our defense. He struggled there. I thought Tumani struggled as well. He took a lot of shots that just uncharacteristic of him. He's ISOing out there. It just was too much, So those two dudes really struggled in this game today. But it happens. These are pups, man. They're youngins. How can you learn, if you don't struggle? But other than today, Aaron, since Scoot's been back, I think Scoot he's been really good. With the exception of today, I thought his push, his pace, his defensive, toughness, and he gets a tough rebound. He's been really good, since he's gotten back. So we'll watch this one off in the shower for our young guys. You got to have a quick and short memory in this league, and we'll move on.
Does it impact someone like him to not have veterans like Ayton and Brogdon to play off of, as opposed to playing with guys almost as young as he is?
Well, it does. It really does. I mean, it impacts all of our youngins, even two. I mean, Tumani gets 20 shots today. You got your vets out there, that never happens. Even Scoot, he gets 17. Those things don't usually happen when you got, your vets out there who usually get most of those shots, most of those opportunities. But everybody suffers when your vets don't play.
The best performing team requires the best workstations. What's the Scoot is brought to you by Office Furniture Reborn. Need desks, better office chairs, or just the right file cabinet? Office Furniture Reborn has a huge selection of colors and sizes to choose from. So drop by Office Furniture Reborn's huge showroom just off Pacific Highway in 217 or visit www.officefurniturereborn.com.
All right, that was Coach Billups after the loss, and I do like the YouTube chat pointing out that his house sounds like mine because he's talked about what he say 4 girls at home. He's a girl dad. He's a girl dad. Also, do like a guy who's making millions of dollars be like, yeah, I gotta take care of my home. I can't afford to lose money. Yeah, that $50,000 fine ain't much. Promise you that. Now it is time for What the Scoot, and what is the Scoot? Scoot is Scoot. He's going to be fine. I'm not too worried. However, as continues to be the topic of conversation after every single night, the shot needs work. And I'm not too worried about it right now because here's the thing. It is hard. Basketball teams don't get a lot of time to practice as a team, let alone time to truly work on their shot in the season. And that's why the offseason becomes so important for these guys, because that's where they really get the chance to go find a shooting coach, work on that in the gym for hours upon hours a day. When they're on the road and we go to shoot-arounds and stuff, a shoot-around is just that. It's like basically a pregame walkthrough. It's not an intense practice. They don't get a lot of true practices in a year. So I'm not too worried about the shot as that continues to progress. I think it's going to work in the offseason when you truly get it. Now, Han, you can say I'm wrong and say there's always time to work on the shot, but the NBA life and the hectic thing that these guys run on the daily, there is not a ton of time one-on-one with your shooting coach or your whatever to get in the gym and truly work on that. Do they have time? Yes. What I'm saying is they don't have nearly as much time as a lot of people think. These guys run non-stop, okay? Non-stop. You can show up 2 hours before work and get shots up. Okay, let me break this down for you. They go through their morning shoot-arounds with these guys, Han. That's their practice. That's not one-on-one time. Do they get time to work on the shots? Yes, but not a ton. Then their pregame routine usually does start hours before the game, but that's going through film, going through their study sessions, doing all this stuff before eventually getting into their routine, which is getting in their shots during their pregame warmups. There is not a lot of time to get in there 2 hours before a game and just get shots up because of the routines that they have to go through. Now, Scoot did get shots up after this game. He was on the court before Chad, I just saw someone type that, sorry. Before Chauncey was even at his post-game presser getting shots up after the game. But the reason you see players getting shots up after the game occasionally is because there's not a ton of time within the regular season to just purely get that in. They get it in when they can, absolutely. And Han can get me all he wants, Colby, but that's just the straight fact of it. They don't have a ton of time to go do these things. You can beg to differ, absolutely. But I have traveled with these guys and watched how often they actually get a chance to get in that gym, and it's very, very limited. The amount of time that they even get a chance to practice is very, very limited within the regular season. I assure you of that. I'm not making this up to prove my point. It's just how that works. I mean, there's not even an open gym for these guys sometime on the road. They have to sometimes they have to practice at a high school gym because that's the only gym available that they can get into, let alone get a practice in. So that's why you see most of these players improve most of their shots via the offseason, because that's the only time, Han. And again, I'm not saying they don't get a chance to practice, but that's the only time that they can walk in and just feel like they have a guaranteed session that is, an all-day thing where they can go in and practice and literally get their thousands of shots up. Thousands of shots up. How many hours a day to play video games? Okay, I can go play video games by myself. Now, he could go get shots up too, but I'm talking about the one-on-one specific training with the coach, everything you need to improve your shot. And also, I don't give two S's if he goes plays video games or anyone else does. I mean, this is their job. He doesn't have to do that 24/7. It's going to come. It's going to happen. But again, I promise you, the amount of time that they have during the regular season, because it is a grind for these guys, is not nearly as much as a lot of people think. I was like, oh, they have tons of time. What are you talking about? Until I went on the road and really started to cover them and realized, wow, they don't practice as much as you'd think because their schedules are so intense. So intense. I mean, it's insane. Insane. You got your weight training schedule, your film study schedule, your team practice schedule. It's crazy, 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 crazy. And no, Rip City Radio, NBA 2K is not practice. Practice at all. Again, it's not that I'm not, again, Han, maybe where our wires are crossed here, because I'm not saying he doesn't get a chance to practice his shot. I'm just saying that is why you see most players get their true development on that shot in the offseason, because that's the only time they get a day even, Han, to fully go in there and dedicate to the shot. Because even at practice, you're going to get time to get your shots up, but then you got to go to your position-specific drills, then you got to go to your 3-on-3s, then you got to go to your 5-on-5s, then you got to go back through different shooting drills. But even your shooting drills aren't a chance to truly work on your overall mechanics. It's just a shooting drill, right? Okay, I'm going to pop a shot here, run to the other side, coach. It's not a time to really get in and work on your mechanics. And there is even time, where's the time to watch my mechanics on video and then go analyze the video with a coach who can sit down with me. And if you are a type of player who goes and gets a shooting coach in the offseason, like that shooting coach is in high demand, so he's going to try to get as many of his clients together at one time as possible, which is why you see videos like you saw this past season with like Jabari Walker working with multiple other NBA players at the exact same time with their specific coach, because they're allowed to do so. You can't really get that in the regular season because the players that your coach works with, one might be in Orlando, while the other is in Golden State, the other is in Portland. There's just so many factors to it. So again, like I said, I think our wires were crossed. I think we're saying the same thing, just on a little bit of a different level. Do they get time to practice? Yes. Just not nearly as much as we think. When I truly realized how much they don't practice, I was shocked. It's absolutely insane. Insane. It blows my mind. Let's just put it that way. Doesn't mean a guy can't improve in the regular season, though, which is the point you're making, Han, and that's true. That's true. But look at Nasir Little. That's why Nasir Little, his shot always looked better at the beginning of the season every single year. You'd see slow progression through the year, but you see marked progression at the beginning because he did a lot of really good work in the offseason. I think Scoot can do that. I mean, do you think he can do that? I think you think he can do that. I think everyone wants to see that because that's going to be important for his progression. A lot of extra movement in the shot as people is Colby, you can keep trying. I'm not going there. That could stay between you and the chat, my man. And Josh, if Josh ever wants to come in, he can address that. I'm not going there. Nice try though. Han does chime in one last time here. My concern is not whether he makes or misses. The way he shoots is not good. Now that's fact. That's factual. The mechanics are bad. Now, if we can get a Sean Marion out of him, because Sean Marion's mechanics were pretty bad too. He just found a way to make them work. Gotcha. Yeah, you wrote me in hook, line, and sinker, Colby. It's just like I took the bait, but I got the hook out before you could reel me all the way in. You see what I did there? All right. Anyway, Han, agree to disagree, but I applaud you. Thank you for, again, great conversation about these topics. And to get in on here, get your thoughts, go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio. Be like Han, who's been here pretty much since day one of our streams and always has some great content for us and great debates. Doesn't always agree with me, but I found out today that not everybody does. I still think LaMarcus is great no matter what you say. This is a lonely island that I sit on. Chris Burkhardt here on Rip City Radio. We're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, as I like to say, we're going to wrap a little bow on this one and get out of here. It's been a wonderful night. Chris Burkhardt here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Exum takes off and drives, stops, turns, slips through, left hand, no good, deflected by Lively, but to Murray. Now to Henderson. Henderson in the front court. His drives, runs into the defender, it's good, and the foul!
Liberty Coin and Currency presents the fifth quarter shot of the night. Liberty Coin and Currency, the place to buy and sell your gold, silver, jewelry, and coins.
Exum takes off the drive, stops, turns, slips through left hand, no good, deflected by Lively, but to Murray. Now to Henderson. Henderson in the front court. Crosses, drives, runs into the defender. It's good in the foul. And Hardaway is on his back under the basket. Scoot Henderson showing off that lower body strength, powering right through Tim Hardaway Jr. for an and one.
Like a running back.
Oh, welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here, filling in for Chad Doing. And you know what? You all got to join the YouTube chat. I keep talking about it, but like everyone is now giving each other like labels. Apparently we have a princess of the chat. We're asking if Colby is the prince of the chat. We may have a king and a queen of the chat. Everyone's got a label. Everyone is getting involved. I love it. And then Chris asked me, what is my favorite Metallica song? Just one. It's a tough question. Which one? I said, that is not a tough question because my favorite Metallica song is Eye of the Beholder. And no, I do not think that is their best song, but it is my favorite song. And then he comes back. He said, I'm a real one, dude. So please explain why. Why does that make me a real one? I do enjoy the fact that I'm a real one. Probably because I didn't go with one or Enter Sandman or like Enter Sandman gets all the pub. And Shacker is a Metallica guy too. Like Enter Sandman gets all the pub. It's probably their most well-known song. It's not even the best song on the Black Album. Like, their most popular song isn't even the best song on the album that it's on. Oh, yeah. They should have never sold out. That's what they should have done. Never sold out. Oh, by the way, their last album, it's phenomenal. I don't care what anybody says. It's got really good stuff on it. I love it. It's good. 72 seasons. Go give it a listen. You Must Burn, my personal favorite song on that album. All these Metallica heads out here. I love it. All right, what else we got going on in the chat before we wrap this up? Let's see. I do like the Metallica love. People still talking about Scoot Henderson. And it's funny because, as some people have pointed out, like, yeah, but there's other people who have broken shots. Like I said, dude, like Sean Marion had the just weirdest looking jump shot. It was like straight. Like he was shooting straight at the rim, yet he made it. He made it. he made it. I don't know. It doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to get going, and I think Scoot will get there. I hope to see him work on that absolutely. And Chris clarifies. He's explained it. I didn't go with one of their mega hits. That's true. Doesn't mean I don't like their mega hits. Like one, I love to close my eyes and just listen to because the drum and guitar parts in that song are so intricate and beautiful. Or like the fact when it goes to the fast tempo. The double bass that Lars Ulrich does matches the tempo of the helicopter blade at the beginning of the song, and I think that's amazing. Little musical tricks like that. Or like you remember, like, you know, the song YYZ by Rush? Like not a lot of people know that beginning riff, like dun 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 dun, yeah, whatever. That's Morse code for YYZ, which is the call code for the Toronto airport, and they're Canadian. Like that. God, music is awesome when it really wants to be. I'll tell you that much. The callers, Colby, they were here. They were here at the beginning. They came through. They left. They bounced. It's just a plain cold hard fact. Might as well be a Coors cold hard fact for next time that there are more callers when the Blazers win. All right, I think that does it though. Chat, you have been wonderful. Han, thanks for the great debate. Tony, he was there earlier. Thanks for the great debate in the pregame show as well. I still think LaMarcus Aldridge is great. And I still contend that they don't get as much time to practice as you think. Han, though, great combo. Absolutely appreciate it. Sean Marion, the Jim Furyk of golf. So, like, what? Hopefully that doesn't make Scoot the Charles Barkley when it comes to busted shots. Because Charles Barkley's golf swing is nasty. All right, everyone, you have been phenomenal. Chris, thanks for making me want to listen to Metallica on the ride home. I'll be back with you next time. Rib City, enjoy your weekend. And as my boss man Chad would say if he were here, show me your blazer.